Okay, in this video we're going to cut the edges for our UVs. So what we're going to do firstly is press 5 to go back to normal Lambert mode, so it's a lot easier to see. And if you select your mesh, go on display, polygons, texture border edges. This doesn't show up yet, but you understand later on. So the theory behind cutting UV edges and stuff like that is because when you want a UV, you can't UV the whole thing as one. You have to cut it down so you can flatten each bit, because at the moment that's pretty much a cylinder, so it's quite hard to flatten something that's already kind of looped around on itself. So what we're going to do is cut off the edges so it then becomes the leg on its own, and then we're going to cut the feet off, and then we're going to cut each thing individually in half, so then we can flatten them out and merge them back together. But in this tutorial we're literally only going to be doing just cutting the UV edges ready for the next video. So firstly, if you press spacebar, you should have your previous scene, so this display should come up, but if not, if you have this, you go panels, save layouts, perspective in UV editor, and you can get should up here. Or if you got it like this, just take off the display image off. So okay, first thing we're going to do is go hold down your right mouse button and go on edge. And then if you double click on the edge loop first, because we're going to cut the towel off, so we want to pretty much isolate that. So this edge loop here, I would say, is the best one. So you double click and it will select the underneath bit, and double click it to the top. But this is because this point here has multiple sides, so normally if you just do that it would work all the way around. But as this one has a little bit kind of crossway, it's a bit harder. So just click that and the next one, and then you press spacebar, on polygons, cut UV edge. Now you see that the line became thicker because now it's showing the UV border edge, because now on the UVs we can go right click, UVs, select one of the UVs of the towel, because this is where the line's cut. We can go hold down right click, select shell, and now if you press W you can see that we've cut off the towel. So that's quite an easy one. That's a good step to show, because it just shows pretty much what we're going to do for the whole body. So again, we'll take let's do the back legs, just work our way up. So again, edge, and we're going to select this one, so it loops all the way around. Or actually, so what we can see, there is no edge loop that goes all the way around. So this one has got the intersection point, which I like. So we're going to click on that one. And then we're going to click on that one. Okay, there's no point, because what we want to try and do is select points that occur most. So that would work. So at the moment, this is the only connecting point, all the other ones loop up quite well. So if you hold down Control and just go over the ones, it will deselect them, the ones that you don't want, and it won't reselect. So if you hold Shift, you get all of them. So you don't. If you just hold Control and just drag over, it will deselect the ones that are already selected. And as you can see, you've got the edge loop here. What we can do quickly before we cut it is do the other side. So we want, is it that one? Yep. And so you go into this bit here. Oh no, it's not this one. It is this one. So you can see sometimes your edge loops are a lot easier to work with if they're pretty much extruded out, but I had to rewrite some of the typology for the model to move nicely and animated. So now we've got our edge loops selected. If you just press 4, you get a clear view of where they are. So that is literally wrapping around the entire leg. So that's what we want to do. Click on 5 again, press spacebar. Oh wait, I just quickly saw something. Because if this doesn't work, I'll show you. Actually, it's a good example. If you don't have all the edges selected and you do this, so you go on polygons, cut UV edge. Now in theory, you see that the line is still thin there because it hasn't been cut. On this side, I'll show you why it's a bad thing. It's because on this one, we can go on here, select shell, and drag it away. It works. If we select this one, select shell, it will select the entire thing. It's because that face there is letting the selection go past, that it's still connected. So what we need to do is go on edge, click on that, polygons, cut UV edge. So now the line is the way we want it. So now we cut off the leg. We've got the legs done. And now let's cut the legs again. Definitely. So let's cut the ankles off. So that should be a full edge loop there. So yep, just above the toes, just cut the edge loops there. And again at the bottom, because the base of the feet are quite easy, so you just do these edges. Give it a second, and then what we do, again, polygons, cut UV edge. So that should be those faces done, and you can see I don't always need to take things away, because you know that your border edges should be fine like that. So the reason why we cut the feet off is because the feet have multiple things, and later on you might want to cut them out, but it's a lot easier just to pretty much take a projection from the top rather than trying to work out how to put the leg and that together. So this here we can cut the foot off all in one. What we're going to want is the seams on the inside, so we're going to select the one on the inside and then we're going to click one on the outside. So we're quite lucky that actually it's done on the other side as well. So as you can see, the border edges, we don't want them to go past that. So we select the ones that have gone past, go back and select this one, and obviously I only clicked on one side and it's looped around, so you've got to pick again that point there where the border edges have stopped. You don't want to cut off the torso of him, so you just go on that, cut those off, and same again here on the top. Okay, now we'll give it a quick check. So again, press 4. You get to see if all your edge loops are there and all selected. And yep, looks good. Press F, that will focus on them so it rotates around. And then what you do next is go polygons, cut UV edge, and that should be the legs. Cut nicely in half. The reason why we've done it twice is so we can unfold these bits individually. So it's a lot easier to do. But later on we'll stick this border edge back together. But we'll show you that later on. Let's quickly cut off the bone bit that extrudes from his back of his legs, which is a weird part of the model. I'm not sure if I still like it anymore, but the front arms I like, the back arms are a bit of an evolutionary flaw, because every time he would run he would pretty much destroy the back of his legs, so maybe in the future I'll take that out. But okay, so again, polygons, cut UV edge, and that should be like that. So let's quickly go and zoom in. But if you don't always want to keep selecting your rest to see it, just click on this one here, which is wireframe on shaded, so you get to see your all your edge loops as you do them, and it's a lot easier, so you constantly get to see it. So at the moment pretty much the entire back's done, and so let's move on to the head. The head one is pretty much, we're going to leave that to another lesson really, because the head will probably be quite complex. Normally a human face is a lot easier because it's quite straight on, but this creature's head is quite long and quite a weird shape, so this will pretty much be one entire tutorial I think. So what we're going to do is just select that edge around there, polygons, cut UV edge, and just for now, to make it think people feel better, is to select that and hide, because that is going to be pretty much the hardest point of this tutorial, so we'll save that to last. Okay, so now we've only got really is the hands, the arms and the torso, but to be honest the torso is slowly getting cut off on its own. We've only got to do one more edge loop, which is this one. So if you just select underneath, select again, and select again, you see you've already kind of pretty much got that one off. The reason why we don't do this one in the middle is because the edge loops stroll off a bit too much. So we're going to use one in, which won't make much difference when we UV in. So do it on both sides, really simple. Polygons, cut UV edge. And so that's like that. So weirdly enough now, if we click on one of the UVs or the torso, you should be able to literally just lift the torso up, because he's on his own now. But everything that is on this part of the body, so that's been joined, because the arms are are not joined together. We're going to cut in half again so we can flatten out like we're doing the arms. We cut the arms in half and the legs. So next thing, we're just going to cut the feet off and pretty much where his wrist is. His hands, really enough, but pretty much feet. So you select those two, because again that will isolate these areas. So spacebar, polygons, cut UV edge. And so now, those are now cut. And so you're pretty much putting yourself down to just cutting the arms now. Again, same seam, just cut down. Because the outer one doesn't matter as much as the inner one, because this one will be all put back together at the end. And you see this one duplicated across, which is good for us. And you just deselect the ones that are not needed. Oh yeah, I forgot, I haven't done the UVs on this one as well. So what we quickly do is to select that border as well, and that one. So we know that we're doing the things as well. So as when you can see that something's wrong is when the pivot point or your motivation tool is hovering away from where it normally is. Means this face is selected maybe where you don't want them, because this should be perfectly nearly in the middle. But so we don't want these ones to cut, so we'll take these guys away with again the control select tool, which works fine. Okay, we've got all these ones cut up now. The arm one. So what we're going to do there, we're going to cut it there, just so I know that they're done. And now that both feet are pretty much finished, so now we just want to take an inner edge loop. So we select that one, pretty much does the entire side. Maybe we can do this one instead, because that one looks better. Yeah, so that one worked a bit better. It didn't go down his hand, which was a bit more annoying. So we'll just do that one. And again, clean up where the border is, because you don't want this to be cut where you don't want it to be done. So there we go. So that is pretty much that. And you can see that there's no edge loops going anywhere weird. And you can go polygons, cut UV edge. And so now that is actually all the meshes cut and finished. So our UVs are now set. So next lesson, oh, 1 second, there is one more. The bones, again. What we're going to do is just cut them off here. And then polygons, cut UV edges. And somehow this will be in a weird this there, so we'll quickly clean this up. Somehow there's been faces, edge loops been thing. So we'll just do what we did with the other thing, with the other cleaning tools. Seems to have copied over here. So this was probably a problem caused by ZBrush. Not us, but easy to clean up, easy to finish. And then what we'll quickly do is hold down Shift, hold down right click, and just refill that with some edge loops, because it needs a bit more just to even it up a little bit. So at the moment this is pretty much the entire model cut up into bits now, so you know that each individual section is now on its own. And last thing we're going to do is get the body and select the middle line. For some reason it's not. Middle line, and then we'll deselect the head. What we can do quickly, so we don't have to we deselect the right ones, just go on the head, just click on edge and get rid of the head one, so we know that the head is not being disturbed. So again, spacebar, polygons, cut UV edge. Now the body is pretty much ready for the next stage, and that's UV in. So next lesson we'll UV the torso, the towel, and we'll see how we go.